Does every dollar you spend on your groceries create a healthier planet, build stronger communities, and help farmers get a fair wage for their work? They could. With Hungry Harvest, get a weekly box of rescued farm fresh produce and grocery staples that fight food waste and hunger delivered right to your door. Whether you customize or want to be surprised with our hand-picked variety of fruits and veggies, you'll save money and make a real impact. Sign up today and get 50% off your first harvest with code HUNGRY50 at hungryharvest.net.
So we're here at Marshall's with Liz for some holiday shopping.
She's really nailing it this year, isn't she?
Oh, yep. She got a record player for Amy.
A gorgeous cozy sweater for Jason.
And some hot pink fluffy slippers for her sister.
The perfect gift.
Wait a sec.
She's getting a pair for herself.
Well, with prices this good, it would be rude not to.
You know what? She totally deserves it.
Oh, totally.
Happy holidays, everyone. See you at Marshall's.
Fabulous brands.
Feel good prices at Marshall's.
Yo fam, what's good, what's poppin'? Yo fam, what's good, what's poppin'? 0800, yo fam, whatever in it. Yo fam, what's good, what's poppin'? Yo fam, what's good, what's poppin'? 0800, yo fam, whatever in it.
Oh, yeah. Do you know what? This is a bit of a disaster today. I am not gonna lie, but you know what? Let's keep it moving. We move. So 0800 Yo Fam, what's good? What's poppin'? I am Khalid Omari, and as per usual, this is the Whatever In It podcast. Can you believe? Why is the sound so loud? Do you know what? The sound wasn't so loud. It's just because everything was zoomed in. But yeah, so yes, once again I am broadcasting live, you know, and I will dice up the episode later on and put it onto all of your favourite podcast DSPs where you can listen to it, you can subscribe to it, you could share it, you could comment on any of the posts to it at Where Is KO, at 0800 Yo Fam. Yes, I am back. This is the third one. Actually, the third recorded but streamed live episode. Episode 51. Imagine that. Did I think I will make it to 51? I've got to stop saying that, to be honest, because I said that. I went into a monologue on episode 50 about, did I think I'll make it to 50? But yes, I am here, and it's no bants. It's still off the cuff. There is a bit of a script today, but first and foremost, I'd just like to add that I do not work for Voodoo Rays. I do not work for the pizza shop. I don't happen to even like pizza. I believe it is cheese on toast. Other people think it's a different thing, but when you check it, it's cheese on dough. Not dough as in get money dough, but dough as in bread dough. You know what I'm saying? Cheese. But anyway, I don't work for Voodoo Rays. I just thought this was a very cool hat, and you know, yeah. So that's it. And I don't eat pork as well. You know, I am haram free. So I don't eat pepperoni. But I was a big fan of the Ninja Turtles as a kid. Therefore, pizza on hat makes it a good buy. Also, it's made of corduroy material. And if you remember, I don't know if, you know, I'm a bit of an old head. So, you know, when I was growing up, corduroy was the thing. I don't even remember having a corduroy pair of trousers. But if you wet yourself in primary school or nursery, they used to send you home in a pair of corduroy trousers. That's all I remember. Anyway, moving on swiftly. Yes, one of the streaming episodes where I live streamed a video of myself making a beat. The beat was called Knock Knock. I was wearing a Las Reyes jersey. So that is an Atletico Madrid jersey. Today, yes, you have noticed I am wearing a Real Madrid jersey. Funny story about why I copped an Atletico jersey when I was in Madrid was that I thought, you know what? Everyone reps Real Madrid, right? Everybody reps it. Everyone and their gran reps it. You know, Ronaldo played for them, Zinedine Zidane, the Galacticos, Los Blancos, all of that stuff. And then I was walking down the I forgot what they call it. Was it Gran Via or something like that? The main strip. Walking down there and I see an Atletico shop. And I was like, yeah, I know about Griezmann, Koke and them, man. Like, you know, let me get involved. Because I remember the Champions League final when it was a penalty shootout between Los Blancos and Las Reyes, yeah, and I think Griezmann or one of them man, or James, someone missed a penalty and they missed out on the cup. And I always remember like Atletico Madrid from that fateful day, and also playing PES, that's Pro Evolution Soccer, like growing up, like you could always pick a Atletico Madrid team and they'll always be a worthy contender to slap up your friends on the football game, you get me? So yeah, the story behind this jersey is, I am a big fan of Real Madrid. Like, they have a big legacy, and this happens to be a Sergio Ramos jersey. Let me do a little 12 for the cam. Funnily enough, a lot of people hate Sergio Ramos, but I admire Sergio Ramos because you need a man like that in your team. Someone that's going to do anything for the win at any cost. Sacrifice himself to get a red card, rile up the other players, you know, just not have it. I guess like the ruthless part of his play came out when he done a madness to Mo Salah, which meant that he couldn't really play for Liverpool Egypt in their World Cup. And it's like, man. But, you know, we could all say that, you know, we might live within certain rules, whether it be sportsmanship, societal and stuff like that. But there are some people that don't care, and Sergio Ramos is one of them guys. If a game needs to be won, he is gonna go ham and try and win the game at all costs. And I'm just saying, you need shooters like that in your team. So yep, I copped a Real Madrid jersey with Sergio Ramos on the back, and I'll level with you, I don't even know if this jersey is real because I got it at a steal of a price. At the start of the season, I was crawling around the internet, I was looking for a Modric jersey, I was looking for a Ramos jersey, and this one came up and it was dirt cheap, right? And when I asked the seller, after I bought it, obviously I won the bid on eBay, came with the tags and everything, and after I won the bid I was like, yo, like, why is this jersey so cheap? And man was like, well, if you suspect it's cheap, why did you buy it? And I was like, bro, hold up, I just want the backstory, because, you know, I'm looking online and these jerseys are like 120 euros with a name on the back, with the Champions League patches and all of that shit. And you're shotting this jersey for dirt cheap, so I'm just trying to find out where it is. And he was like, one of his family members sent it to him as a gift and he just didn't like it. I don't know. They might have got the wrong team, they might have got the wrong player, who knows? Anyway, if you want to find out more about Sergio Ramos and his approach to football and life, you can tune into the Amazon documentary on Amazon Prime. And I think they're recording a second series at the moment. The funniest thing about that documentary is Real was going through a downturn, a mad downturn, you know what I'm saying? So you just see him holding court with a couple of the other players, and his brother, who happens to be his agent, who's like, yo, like, man's going down the pan right out here. I've been banned for a couple of games, I don't know what I want. So yeah, man, interesting. Anyway, that's pretty much the opening story. So as you can guess, you know, today's subject matter, I feel like I'm teething all of my podcast content from work. Like, I done a presentation today about women's football, right? And the continued fight for equality within the game. And like I said on last week's episode, on episode 50, what led me down this path of digging deeper and deeper and deeper into the women's game is the fact that I saw a bit of documentary like a documentary video, and basically it was said that the FA banned women's football in the early part of the 20th century because it was much more popular than the men's. I started asking the question, like, what if they didn't ban it? How big would the women's game be today? And obviously I can't show you a video inside this podcast episode. I definitely cannot do that because, you know, I might get pulled up for copyright, all of that jazz. But what I'm going to do is, if you go to the blog post via the link inside this podcast description, you'll be able to read all of the facts, figures, statistics and slides. So, like I said, from that video, I was just like, raw. I did not know the FA could be that kind of divisive. And also it's another situation where once again women have almost been silenced by men. And I started just digging deeper and deeper and deeper, and it led me to remember this video that I saw before the France 2019 World Cup, where it's an advert that features the German team, and they're saying, look, none of our countrymen know our name, and we've won the World Cup 8 times. 8 times. The first Women's World Cup was in like 1990 or 1991. So between then and 2019, that's what, 29 years, they've won it 8 times. That's a third of all World Cup wins, which is bonkers. But yet, no one knows their name. When they won it the first time, they got a tea set. You know what I'm saying? People still doubt their abilities. They call it the men's amateur game, but at a much slower pace. Like all of these disses. And it got me thinking, how many players do you know that play for the females equivalent of your favourite team? I know who play for the equivalent of Manchester United. You know, you've got Tobin. Maybe a few don't come to mind right now, but I know a few, and you know, I just need to do more research. I could tell you a couple players at Chelsea, for instance. You know, you got Samantha Kerr, top goal scorer in the US Women's League, currently at 16 goals for this season in the UK League. You know, like, my mind's gone blank, I cannot lie. So I need to do more digging, even though I consider myself as someone who is getting into supporting it and XYZ. I could name you a couple of players at Olympique Lyonnais. You know, you got Amel Madri, Renard, Amadine Henry. You have Sommelier, Karachui. Ballers, you get me? Oh, Nikita Paris, she is a forward for the English team. Fran Kirby also plays for Chelsea alongside Samantha Kerr. Jeez, don't chat to me about nothing. Just had a mind blank. And I know you were judging me, you know, like, rah, like, this man's preaching a madness, you know, but he don't know his shit. I know my shit. I could name you a couple players that play for the Los Blancos Feminine. You know what I'm saying? You got Thaisa, you've got Aslani, you've got Jakobsson. Don't chat to me about nothing, man. Anyway, so going through watching these videos and whatnot, and I'm just inspired, you get me? Because let's look at it like this. The last World Cup in France in 2019, I actually went to see Jamaica versus Brazil, and yes, we got creamed. We got wiped. It was 4-0. Cristiane scored 3 goals. 3 goals against us. Marta scored a penalty, you know, which brought her to scoring the most goals at a World Cup, in a World Cup final. Some statistic like that anyway. So USA won the 2019 World Cup. The number of goals scored were 146. 146 goals. Average attendance for that World Cup was around about 20,000 each match, which was sick. I mean, the vibe out there in France was actually amazing. I can't lie. Crazy weather, like it would rain, it would be hot, it would be this and that. I went to Grenoble to watch the match, so it was a bit all over the place. But yeah, that was a good competition. Some good football played. You know, in terms of statistics for Olympique Lyonnais, the female side, right, they are the equivalent of a Real Madrid in European Championships. They have won a total of 31 trophies. They've won the French League consecutive times, probably going back around about 7 to 10 years every year, right? They've won the treble, that means the Champions League, the equivalent of the FA Cup over here, and the D1 League 5 times, which is mental. Also, on the subject of going to see Jamaica and watching a Jamaica team member play, Khadija Shaw a forward and a striker for Jamaica, is currently the top scorer in the females French league with 16 goals at the moment. Mud ting. On the subject of top goal scorers, did I mention that Samantha Kerr was the leading goal scorer in the US League last season and came over to England to play for Chelsea, which they have an unbeaten run at the moment, fighting it out for the league title with Man City girls, and she's currently scored 16 goals for the season. Mad. On the subject of the FA Women's Super League, Chelsea have won it last year. Maybe they're on track to win it this year, but Vivian Miedema has scored 16 goals and was the top scorer last year, top scorer before that, and is currently the reigning top goal scorer in the league. Hit you with them little stats, you get me? But yeah, I guess the reason why I want to do this episode of the podcast, because I felt like, you know, I love watching football highlights. I love the stories behind the game itself, tactics and all of that. And I'm just amazed. And I find that I follow the men's side of football so much that as a football fan, why am I not showing equal emphasis and importance on the women's game as well? You know what I'm saying? At the moment, it's like crossing that borderline between grassroots to like being recognised, and I think more of us who support a men's team should definitely show some form of interest in the women's sport as well. I think it's only fair, not even only fair, but as a football fan, sport is sport. Like, you don't watch athletics and only watch the men's competitions. You watch athletics and watch men's, you watch women's, you watch all broad spectrums of the competitions as well, and that goes for every sport. You know what I'm saying? And an interesting fact as well, and this is taken from the page de.classique, and I think it's a French Instagram page dedicated to women's football and stuff. So it raised the interesting fact that was in honor of Marta's birthday, the state of Rio has officially declared February the 19th as Women's Football Day. Brazil's women's football is one of the most victorious in the world, and what better date to commemorate it than on the birthday of our best player, Marta. We have to encourage this huge range of girls and teenagers that aspire to have the opportunity to become professionals, understanding that there are challenges, yes, but a woman's place is where she wants it to be, and striker Marta is undoubtedly a great inspiration to all. And that was a quote from the legislator nurse Rehan, who introduced the law. That's actually sick still. And on the subject of how you can find out more about, you know, the business of women's football, what goes on behind the scenes, what kind of disparities and challenges there are when it comes to remuneration, when it comes to sponsorship, when it comes to live sports coverage. There is a series on BBC Three called Youngest Football Manager, and it follows the West Ham ladies football manager, who is also the son of the West Ham men's team's owner, right? And it shows in series 1, it goes through them trying to win the FA Cup, work their way through the league to a top 3 or 4 place finish, acquiring international players and how they integrate those players into the team with, like, say, cultural studies and lessons to get involved in English culture so they don't feel like out of place. I think it's a really good and insightful documentary as well. However, forecasting to this season, West Ham are currently at the bottom of the table. When I talk about the FA Cup final and how Chelsea beat Bristol 6-0, the coach in the documentary was the same coach who was coaching Bristol that got battered 6-0. So yeah, I don't know why I thought that was relevant, but you know, I'm just trying to sow the seeds here. I'm not even throwing any dirt on anyone's name or legacy or approach. I am just stating the factuals. So yeah, that's how we're going on, man. We're just watching sports, bit of footy. Oh my God, I don't even know what's going on in the United game at the moment. Got access to a little Sky Sports. What is it? Sky Sports Go? Or Sky Go? Okay, still 1-0. Extra time. Or injury time, shall I say. So if you want to catch up with women's football and watch the games, get in tune with the highlights and stuff, you know, if you go to the blog post that is in the link for the description of this podcast, you can find all the resources there. You can watch it on atafootball.com, women'scompetitions.thefifa.com, women'scompetitions.thefa.com, Primera Iberdrola.es, that's ES, figit/IT/feminil, nwslsoccer.com, and youtube.com, and then just search D1 Feminine Official. And for the Bundesliga equivalent, you've got dfb.d, that's DE/Ligen-Fruen. I'm probably reading these out and you're like, bro, just left it at the place where you said you was going to write it down. So that's what I'm going to do. 0800 Yo Fam, what's good, what's popping, reported live from inside the creative space, visual, audio, blog, everything, you get me? But yeah, peace out, good night, God bless. See you on Thursday.
Yo fam, what's good, what's poppin'? Yo fam, what's good, what's poppin'? 0800 Yo fam, whatever in it. Yo fam, what's good, what's poppin'? Yo fam, what's good, what's poppin'? 0800 Yo fam, whatever in it. Holler at me for the podcast. It's the coldest podcast. I said holler at me for the podcast. Mondays and Thursdays, I said holler at me on the podcast. It's the Wavy Podcast. It's like holler at me on the podcast. Subscribe.
University of Maryland Global Campus was established to bring a respected state university education to working adults at home and abroad. 70 years ago, we sent professors overseas to educate service members and their families on military installations and on the front lines. Today, we're online because that's where working adults need us, that's where you need us. We'll support your commitment to being a successful student with services that fit your lifestyle, and we offer more than 90 programs and specializations for where you are and where you want to be. University of Maryland University College is now University of Maryland Global Campus. We go the distance because times have changed, but what we're made for hasn't. UMGC offers online support for veterans, including resources at the Veterans Resource Center, no-cost digital materials replacing most textbooks, virtual advising, transfer credits, and lifetime career services. Speak to our dedicated military and veterans advisors who can help you find the right degree for your career path. Visit umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Cloud is powering tomorrow's transformative missions. Federal agencies are partnering with SAIC to help them meet these critical moments, where bold moves require confident blueprints, where you can accelerate transformation through consistency, where you can innovate forward and never look back. SAIC quickly and securely migrates large-scale workloads to the cloud with the confidence you need to assure your mission. Learn more at saic.com/cloud.